with what I have. If we pause to recognize the positive and the grown, the best,
Sel, gamitin sa sel.
if we pause the positive and the things we've grown, we will see the small things that make this time more memorable and in a good way. Thank you.
Thank you so much, candidate number 1. Now may I have candidate number 2? How are you feeling right now? A little bit nervous. How about you, Mr. John Russell? How are you feeling right now? He's nervousing. Very nervousing. Are you ready? Here is your question. How will you define success? Again, how will you define success?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Miss Nancy, for that wonderful question. I believe that success is measured by overcoming your fears, challenges, and setbacks. Success is not all about having a lot of monies, a career, or a lot of branded cars, but it is also about being happy, being loved, and above all, setting yourself free from the things that you are most afraid of. And that will be all. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Success when you build satisfaction and happiness in your life.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, candidate number 2. Now, candidate number 3, may I have you in front. How are you feeling right now? How about you, Mr. Edgar?
It's good to be true.
It's good to be true, indeed. Are you ready for your question? Okay, here is your question. Are you in favor of divorce bill in the Philippines? Why or why not? Again, are you in favor of divorce bill in the Philippines? Why or why not?
Thank you, Mincy, for the questions. Yes, I am favor in a divorce bill in the Philippines because it gives freedom from abusive partner. Thank you.
Again, may I repeat? Okay.
Repeat the question, ma'am.
Okay. I will repeat the questions here. Are you in favor of divorce bill in the Philippines? Why or why not?
So good evening, everyone. So thank you for that beautiful question, ma'am. So for me, my opinion, I against that divorce bill to allow in our country in the Philippines because I believe that divorce bill is not the solution to set your love free, and I believe that divorce bill also can ruin your families. And if this divorce bill will allow in the Philippines, the marriage of a man and woman will it's easily like the woman cheat and his husband. So if there is a divorce bill in the Philippines, it's easy for them to make a decision that is not necessarily, and it's they make decision that can destroy the one and their families. So that's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, candidate number 3.
Sel, dakog naong ni mo sila.
Candidate number 4,
Imong naon ni
please, may I
haplat
have you in
niya.
front?
Sel, taga na dyan sila.
How do you feel today?
Ah,
How about you?
Bahala nervousing, basta still pogi. Are you ready for a question? Okay, here is your question. What do you think is the biggest problem faced by the Philippine education system? Again, what do you think is the biggest problem faced by the Philippine education system?
Good evening, everyone. And thank you anyway for the question, Miss. So, I believe that factors such as lack or outdated school facilities, equipment, and materials, high rate of dropouts or out of school youth, all boil down to the biggest problem that the Philippine education system is facing today, which is the insufficient budget for education. Because if only education is highly prioritized and funded enough, then everyone, especially those children from the most unfortunate families, can have access to free education, wherein all academic expenses are shouldered by the government and students are not charged of a single penny in admitting themselves to any learning institution. Yes, some public schools are subsidized by the government, but it's the tuition alone. Other miscellaneous fees have to be paid from our own pockets, and not to mention, not all parents can afford to send their children to school with allowances.
Yes.
I believe that is why some of the students would rather drop out and find a job that could feed them, rather than studying and struggle more financially. I believe that free education in our country is attainable as other countries are having it. And
What's that, you know?
yes, Philippines is one of the third world countries and still developing, but everything is possible only if each of us, especially the higher
Awa
ups,
day.
work together in the same aspiration, which is the betterment of our education. As a future educator, I hope that tomorrow we will perceive education as the right of every Filipino and not a luxury that only people with riches can afford. Thank you.
Oh my God.
May I repeat the question? Okay. What do you think is the biggest problem faced by the Philippine education system?
Mayong gabi sa tanan. For me, the biggest problem is improper funding and having too many students for teachers. Thank you.
Thank
you so much, candidate number 4. Candidate number 5, may I have you in front? How does it feel to look very gorgeous today, Miss?
I feel nervous.
How are you, Mr. Johnny?
If she is nervous, times 2.
Well, are you ready for your question? Well, here is your question. Do you favor in the inclusion of sex? Again, do you favor in the inclusion of same-sex education? Again, do you favor the inclusion of sex education in the high school curriculum of the Philippine education system? Explain your answer. Again, do you favor in the inclusion of sex education in the high school curriculum in the Philippine education system? Explain your answer.
So good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and to all judges. So for me, yes, I am in favor of the inclusion of sex education in high school curriculum here in the Philippine education system. Why? Because I believe education widen our horizon, and this gives us awareness of most of the things in this world. So just like the inclusion of sex education, this opened the mind of the youngsters about that matter. Because being educated, this helped them to understand themselves biologically and be prepared to face the world so that they will not fall down to victims to those sexual predators. Also, this will guide them to think critically, and this will help them to decide what is wrong and right in relation to this issue. Moreover, this is essential to prevent and combat some sexual abuse against children, sexual violation and sexual exploitation, because sex education empower girls and boys to speak up for themselves when their sexual boundaries are being violated. Also, as a nursing student, sexual education for me is a good step to help address some societal issues here in the Philippines, just like the overpopulation, high rate of teenage pregnancy, and also the rise of some sexually transmitted diseases like HIV. So good quality of sex education. This can be a step to prevent the STDs and unwanted pregnancy. So through educating them, teenagers can learn to have a healthy relationship, create informed decision about sexuality, and think critically about the world. So this will give them, this will make them embrace and love themselves for who they are. And I thank you.
Taasan lagan sir sa ka-paragraph man. Sa
May I
ka-paragraph.
repeat the question? Okay. Do you favor the inclusion of sex education in the high school curriculum of the Philippine education system? Explain your answer.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So, in my opinion about this answer to question, I will not go to the. I will not agree or nor disagree, but I'm in between. Why? Because in a coin, there's always two sides, which is the negative and the positive sides, right? So in the positive side, yes, the young people, the students will know about the sex education. So they will know on how to prevent, on how to avoid, but in the end, so since they already know the things what to do to prevent, so the negative sides there is there's a possibility that since they already know there's a possibility that the sex will become just a play for the young people, no? Young people, and it will become their habits for the future. So it still affects the life of every young people. So I will just choose in a neutral side. So this will be all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, candidate number 5. Now, candidate number 6, may I have you in front, please? You look stunning and gorgeous. How are you feeling today? Are you ready for your question? How about you, Mr. James? Okay, here is your question. Should same-sex marriage be legalized in the Philippines? Why or why not? Again, should same-sex marriage be legalized in the Philippines? Why or why not?
Good evening, everyone, and especially to our pretty and handsome judges. And to you, Ate Nancy, thank you for your interesting question. So here's my answer. For me, same-sex marriage will be not legally here in the Philippines. Especially, it contradicts our religious beliefs. And we all know that God stated in the Bible that man is for woman and woman is for man. That's for y'all. Thank you.
May I repeat the question? Again, here is the question. Should same-sex marriage be legalized in the Philippines? Why or why not?
Thank you for your wonderful question. Currently, same-sex marriage is not yet legal in the Philippines. However, some local government unit in the country have pass ordinances to recognize benefits for same-sex couples. And also,
Pagod siya dito po siya mo.
thank you.
Hala, kasama natin yung siguli.